Welcome on in, everyone, today. I'm BradyBot, and we're going to be talking about suit combinations and how you can go about analyzing them. We're going to touch on a couple of actually rather abstract, but I think very important and interesting points. We'll discuss why certain suit combination analyzers actually come up with the wrong answer to some problems. And we're going to do this all through an example, because when I got up today, I noticed a comment on one of my recent videos. Said, on board 10, SuitPlay says match point best for 3 tricks and hearts is indeed to cash the ace to drop a singleton honor, or king-queen doubleton from east. And I replied, this is fascinating. SuitPlay is incorrect, and I wonder why. So here's the hand in question. I played this in the recent Plat Star tournament, and after a diamond opening lead, I won the trick in my hand, and I stated, rather confidently I might add, that the best play for 3 tricks in the suit is to lead a low heart to the 9, effectively playing west for 10 doubleton, east will win an honor, and then next time we can run the jack on the way back, is the plan. And so I did that. I played a heart to the 9, and obviously this didn't go great. East had the singleton queen of hearts. But the point was that SuitPlay suggests that the correct play in this suit for 3 tricks at match points is to cash the ace. This would work on this lie of the cards, but it would be less effective if West had 10 doubleton. But is this actually true? Now, there's a couple things that we need to know about SuitPlay analysis, which is that, 1, it assumes that the opponents are always going to false card in the best way possible for them. And 2, it assumes these false cards are done with perfect knowledge of where all the missing cards are on the deal. So it assumes that they know our heart holding, which is concealed in this hand. So that's a point that I'm going to bring up later, but keep that in the back of your mind. And then 2, it basically assumes that Declare starts off by choosing their line of play, and then the defenders get to react to it, which is true in a sense. I mean, in all these suit combinations, Declarer is the one that's playing the suit themselves, but Declarer's line of play can kind of change up depending on what happens in the suit. And we'll talk about that in a second as well. But first, I want to just get into the flat-out math, because I think SuitPlay is just absolutely wrong, even if we consider nothing other than those basic assumptions, that Declarer starts out by selecting their line of play and plays for it, and then the defenders get to react appropriately. So how many holdings can we actually pick up on both of these plans? Low towards the 9, intending to play west for 10 doubleton, or cashing the ace first. So I pulled up kind of a little scratch board that we can do a little bit of work on, and this is basically the suit combination: ace 8 fourth, opposite jack 9 fourth. We don't care about the other spot cards. We did have the 6, but it's kind of irrelevant. We're looking for the best match point line for 3 tricks. We don't care about trying to make sure we take at least 2 tricks. It's really just trying to take 3 tricks on the hand. And these are 2 numbers that are going to be relevant to our calculations, that a 3-2 break will happen a priori about 68% of the time, 4-1 will happen a priori 28% of the time. So we're going to use all this information, and let's write out the 2 lines of play. So line 1 is cash ace, hope for king-queen doubleton, or singleton queen or king on our right. So that's going to be line 1. And then line 2 is going to be that we want to play low to the 10, or low to 9, hope for 10x west on our left, but we also happen to pick up one other holding, and that other holding is king-queen doubleton with west. or king, queen, just with West. We're not going to pick up king, queen, doubleton in East's hand because we're committing to a line of play. Our line of play is that we play low. If West plays anything other than an honor, we're going to cover that card. So if West plays the 10, we'll play the jack, eventually playing West for 10 doubleton, of which there are 3 possible ways that West could have 10 doubleton. East would then have king, queen, third. Or if West plays the 10, we'll play the jack, and then we'll hook the 8 on the way back. So low to the 9, cross back to the north hand and lead the jack, hoping to pin a 10 doubleton, or low 10 jack, king or queen, cross back, and then take a finesse against the remaining honor. But if West plays an honor on the first round of the suit, we're not picking up 10 doubleton anymore, because that's not one of the 3 10 doubleton holdings that we were playing for. Obviously, we could choose to play West for queen or king 10 doubleton, depending on which honor they win. But our plan, remember, we're deciding this ahead of time, and we're not deviating from what our plan is, no matter what the opponents do. This is the way that SuitPlay thinks about these lines of play, is that if West plays an honor, we can no longer play them for 10 doubleton, therefore, we're going to play them for exactly king, queen, doubleton. And so we'll lead low, West will play the king or queen, we'll get back in, and we'll just lay down the ace. And this is going to work out great, because West will turn up with king, queen, doubleton, jack falls. And both lines of play pick off this king, queen, doubleton with West. We are not going to pick it up with East, because that means West would have 10 third. We're going to play low to the 9, whether West plays the 10 or not. East will win, and then we'll play the jack on the way back, and the 10 will actually get set up. So these are going to be our 2 lines of play. So line 1 is going to work against two 3-2 holdings, both of the king, queen, doubletons, and 2 4-1 holdings. So that's line 1. Line 2 is going to work against 4 3-2 holdings. Now, because these percentages are the way they are, we might already just conclude that line 2 is better than line 1. But let's make sure that we actually step through the math, because someone earlier on stream might have done this a little bit backwards. So it is important, even though we know for a fact that line 2 is going to pick up more of the more likely holdings, the 3-2 splits as opposed to the 4-1 splits. So 4 3-2 splits should be more likely than 2 3-2 and 2 4-1 splits. But we can actually do the math on this. So the question is then, we need to normalize the results. And so we want to figure out what percentage of 3-2 splits in total, what percentage of the 68 is actually 2 of them, and what percentage of 4-1 splits is 2 of them. So 68%, there are going to be 2 of these 3-2 splits that we can pick up. There is a 68% chance that the suit is going to be divided this way, and we're going to consider all these probabilities independent, because that's a very simple way and pretty accurate way to analyze this. But now we have to account for how many possible 3-2 splits there are. Well, there's 2 different players that can hold the 3-card suit, so 2 possibilities for which player holds 3 of them as opposed to the doubleton. And then how many ways can we choose 3 cards out of 5? It's 5 choose 3, which is going to be 10. So that's the number, or the percentage of times that we're going to make the contract, or make 3 tricks in the suit when it's 3-2. We have to add that to a similar calculation for the 4-1 divisions. There are 2 players that can hold the 4-card suit, and there are 5 different possible singletons. So this is the answer for the percentage chance that line 1 will take 3 tricks, and that comes out to, I think, 12.4%. Maybe someone can fact check me on the math on this, but you can just plug these numbers in. and I think it gets 12.4%. This is the answer that SuitPlay comes up with. Now, for line 2, our calculation is going to be very similar. There are 4 3-2 combinations we pick up, 68% chance of them, and then once again, there are going to be 20 different 3-2 suit divisions. But when we plug in the math for this comes out to, I think, 13.6%. So already, before we run any other calculations or analysis, SuitPlay's chance of making the contract or making 3 tricks is 12.4%, and the line of play that we chose was 13.6. So I don't know what went wrong in SuitPlay, because these are not difficult calculations to run as long as you're careful and you state exactly what plans you're going to work with. But there's also an additional factor that we need to consider in this spot, which is that it's not even just that the defense is not going to be perfect about making false cards. Remember, when we said West played the 10 from 10 doubleton, we were still planning to finesse against East. For one thing, I don't think West is always playing the 10 from 10 doubleton. Even if they know what our hand is, it would not be automatic to them to make this false card. And so I think a lot of the time they're just going to play a low one. But additionally, I think they should be playing a low one a large percentage of the time. Even from expert players. This isn't a position where this is an automatic false card. And it's not exactly similar to the restricted choice problems of Queen-Jack doubleton or King-Queen doubleton or something like that, where you want to win both honors approximately equally to give declare a little bit of a guess in the suit. Instead, West should just be playing low almost all the time because they don't know what our heart holding is. Imagine, instead, if our heart holding was King 8/4. For just a second. We lead a low heart. If West plays the 10, we play the Jack. East wins the Queen, and eventually we knock out the Ace. If West plays low, we might play the Jack and then hook East for the 10 on the next round of the suit. That's possible, right? That wouldn't be unheard of in any way. So there's a real chance that from 10 doubleton, West would score that trick. Additionally, imagine if we had Queen 8/4 of hearts. Once again, we lead a low heart. If West plays the 10 from 10 doubleton, that's not great for them. In fact, the percentage play in this suit is to play low to the Jack and then low to the 8 on the next round. So as long as East doesn't make a mistake by hopping up on the second round with their other honor, they're going to score 3 tricks in the suit as long as West doesn't play the 10 from 10 doubleton. And of course, we could have a variety of other heart holdings. We don't need to have a 4-card suit. We might have a 3-card suit. But for all of these reasons, I don't think West should be playing the 10 from 10 doubleton. So that adds another bit of a wrinkle to the problem, because this means when West plays the 10, it's either going to be a singleton 10. Well, we can't pick that up. We don't have the spot cards for it. Or it's going to be Queen 10 or King 10 doubleton. And so anytime West does play the 10 and we play the Jack and East wins an honor, it's got to be pretty likely that West started with honor 10 doubleton. So we could play low, West plays the 10, we play the Jack, and then rather than playing low to the 8, we could play low to the Ace on the next round, picking off the King 10 or Queen 10 doubleton. And I think this is pretty likely to happen, assuming West does play the 10. Now, more likely is that West would play the Queen or the King from this holding, in which case we don't have a guess on the next round. We would just cross over to dummy and then run the Jack. Now again, that comes back to the issue of we are at this point giving up on picking up King-Queen doubleton with West in line 2. If we're going to lead low towards the Jack, and whenever West plays an honor, we then lead the Jack on the next round, hoping to pin a King 10 or Queen 10 doubleton, well, we lose out on this, and if our opponent is perfectly false carding, then we lose out on this completely, and we don't gain anything. But in real life, the defenders are probably going to hop up from that holding, especially queen 10 doubleton. If West plays the queen here, you can almost be confident. You can be very confident that it's queen 10 doubleton, because it would be very silly for them to play the 10. If they play the 10 and it goes jack and their partner wins the ace, they're not in very good shape. Then they might have turned 2 defensive tricks into 1 if Declare started with king 8 fourth. So I think in reality, our actual chances of making 3 tricks on line 2 are a little bit better than this 13.6%. I don't know really where to put it. If we pick up all king 10 or queen 10 doubleton combinations, we probably end up giving up the king queen doubleton with West. So we would instead get 1 extra 3-2 split. And so that would increase our chances to 5 times 0.68 over 2 times 10, which is, what is this? 17%, it looks like. So again, I mean, a pretty substantial increase from 12.4% to 17. But even if we just go with line 2 as stated, and we never change our plan, and we never play for queen 10 or king 10 doubleton from West if West hops up with an honor, or if West plays the 10 on the first round, we're still beating out SuitPlay. So it's a fascinating puzzle, and I don't really have a good guess as to why SuitPlay got this wrong. I wonder if what's going on is that SuitPlay assumed that this was all line 2 was picking up. Low to the 9, hope for 10 doubleton, in which case there would only be 3 combinations. And when we work out the math on this, it looks like it's pretty close to 3 times 2/3 is like 2 over 2 times 10 is like 10%. But they didn't account for the issue of what happens if West plays an honor on the first round. Because we have this guess, right? If West plays an honor, we could play them for honor 10 doubleton, or we could play them for king queen doubleton. And it looks to me as if SuitPlay has assumed that we're always getting that guess wrong. But we can avoid always getting that guess wrong by essentially always doing the same thing. Always making a decision and then running with that decision as long as it's consistent with our other plays. And so for line 2 to be effective in that sense, we actually have to play West for king queen doubleton. Because if we say that when West plays an honor, we're going to play them for honor 10 doubleton, that means that when West plays the 10 from 10 doubleton, we do not pick up that holding. We will play low 10 jack, king or queen, and then low back to the ace, and East would win their tricks from king queen third. And so SuitPlay would assume that we always get that guess wrong if we make the assumption that we're picking off king queen or king 10 doubleton on our left. But with this line of play, it's very clear. I mean, we just worked through the math. We got to 4 times 68%, and it works out to 13.6 overall, which is a little bit better than 12.4. But again, in real life, I think you're going to do substantially better than that because West is never defending perfectly, and I don't think West is false carding in the way that SuitPlay expects it to. So just a word of caution to anyone who's like blindly using some of these suit combination analysis tools. You should always learn to do calculations like this on your own to try and work through the lines of play. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. That's going to wrap up the SuitPlay analysis, and I'll see you all next time.